Should I do my thumbnail with a steak knife? Hey y'all, happy fall. At least it's fall to me, because today we are talking about one of my favorite subjects of all time, slasher movies. Specifically, a subgenre of slasher movies that I made up, known as slashercore. Slashercore is a subgenre of slasher movies that I made up and researched extensively to create this concept that is now somewhat real, thanks to me. I am going to be creating a series of slashercore videos where we talk about horror books, movies, TV shows, everything like that. It's not just going to be a seasonal thing. I'm going to be creating a lot of them because it's fall. It's 90 degrees right now, but it's fall. Let's get into it. What is slashercore? To be real, slashercore isn't a real thing. I made it up. I made all of this up. It's all lies. You are watching lies. But I did a lot of research on it, so now it's a real thing. That being said, slashercore is the presence of familiar cliches or tropes within horror, specifically slashers, that make it reliable every time. The slasher formula is consistent plus predictable equals satisfying and always good. Yes, I did come up with that myself. Thank you. If you don't know what a slasher movie is, it's a movie with a high body count. Not like that, you dirty pig. That's called Paranormal Activity, which we'll talk about in another video. For real though, a slasher is a subgenre of horror involving the stalking and killing of a group of people, usually high school friends, but it could be family, whatever. Usually using taunts and games to get the victims to become active members in the bloodbath. Speaking of bloodbaths, they are pretty inconvenient. Luckily, FEMOMETER is here to help. FEMOMETER is an amazing women's health company. I love these collagen peptides for supplementing my diet, and this basal thermometer tracks your ovulation without using chemicals. FEMOMETER is so easy, you can use it in even the scariest of situations. Head on over to the description of this video or any of my other recent videos and click on the links down below to get yours. A pink thermometer, guys. That's so Barbiecore. There are two big overarching elements of slashers that you're gonna see in basically every single moment of every single slasher in the world, and that is reliability and predictability. Most clips are gonna fall under this category, like I said, and that's just because slashers are built the same way. It's what makes these movies so damn irresistible, even to the people within the movies. The first big element we really need in a slasher is a group of people that are all connected in some way, that each fulfill some stereotypical given role. We're always going to have the chosen girl, of course. Our main character, the final girl, whatever you want to call her, usually is connected to the plot in some tragic backstory way, be it her whore of a mother or her mom had a child out of wedlock, whatever it is. As a result, all of her friends and the people around her are going to be mercilessly killed for the next controversial few seasons or endless horror movies. There's going to be a pushy reporter, be it Gale Weathers or Piper Shaw, or Sarah's own husband in Slasher. Then there's going to be the clueless and likable authorities like Dewey and Chief Hudson in the Scream series. I loved him personally. And of course we're going to have the dirty cops, especially in the shows like Slasher. There's 2 dirty cops in 1 season of Slasher. Of course we're going to have the friend group of the final girl, and there's tons of names for it. There's Core 4, Lakewood 6. Name a movie, there's probably a name for the surviving group. Then there's the final girl's boyfriend, who is probably super dreamy, super athletic, a jock, probably has some issues with college. Think Troy Bolton. Then there's going to be the boyfriend's Antichrist, who is also super dreamy and super fit and muscular, but also comes from like a creepy, eerie, mysterious background and carries himself kind of like Edward Cullen. And one of them's probably going to die, and the other one's probably going to be the killer. I don't make the rules, I just talk about them. Oh my gosh, are you super dreamy and athletic? Oh my gosh, are you creepy and mysterious with a tragic backstory? How do I pick? Then there's going to be the dumb blonde or the self-centered friend. Think Peach Salinger and You, which isn't really a slasher, but we are going to be talking about it, so I thought I'd mention it. And there's my personal favorite type of character, the geek slash nerd slash informant. Think Noah Foster in Scream, or like every character in the Scream movies really, but especially this girl. This is the one who's obsessed with horror movies, knows all the cliches, knows all the rules. This is the character that's saying stuff like, we can't split up, or don't say you'll be right back, or the virgin can't have sex. They probably give monologues, and there's probably tons of dramatic irony occurring around this character. This character's sole purpose is comedic relief, taking the audience along with them as we say, like, turn around or like look behind you. Like, they express that humor and frustration that goes with the terror. What I love about modern slashers, which is kind of forming this idea of slashercore, is that they're starting to pull on cliches from other TV shows and other movies, not just slashers, which is creating this modern genre of slasher movies. We're seeing more teacher-student tropes, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not permitting that, but we're seeing it. Think Pretty Little Liars in Scream, for example. A bunch of these tropes are all coming together and infiltrating each other and creating a modern genre of slasher. Slashers, of course, need that comedic relief, not just with that one character, but with all of them. There's gonna be humor in it. Characters like Noah are gonna give these long, lengthy, ironic monologues that serve as exposition, and interactions like
certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie
are gonna occur all the time in modern slashers. As slashers have been around longer and longer, people are realizing that they're all the same, so you gotta call attention to it, or people are gonna lose interest. Slashers have done a really, really, really good job at evolving with the times and not becoming stale. There's also got to be tons of red herrings and false suspects thrown in that creates distraction and people looking the wrong way when the real killer strikes in. Mass paranoia, suspicion, turning on friends, boyfriends, which causes death after death after death in this friend group. The killer's probably going to have some really elaborate framing attempt or story that they're going to try to go with, and while they're explaining it, they're going to run their trap so much that someone's going to come in, boom, and kill them. Thank God. They're gonna have some creepy monologue explaining their awful plan that gets them killed. Harley, can you wait 1 second? Jesus. But not before they wake up one final time and it's either gonna be predictable and super satisfying or random and unfulfilling, like Pretty Little Liars. What was that? The killer in these slashers is also probably going to be driven by the actions of previous killers or a previous historic event. Somehow these kooky people usually find other kooky people that are equally as obsessed with these crimes and rope them in until it's a big fucking bloodbath. Aside from the big overarching cliches, there are a bunch of smaller ones that I love. I can't talk about all of them in this one video, but here's some of my favorites. One thing about slasher films is there's going to be a big party. There's going to be teens partying, there's going to be drinking, there's going to be drugs, there's going to be teenage rebellion. It's great. There's going to be all of that, and usually the killer's going to show up and strike, or there's some alternate event going on that's supposedly super secure and safe that the kids should be at, but instead they're doing stuff like this. Think Scream again, think Bodies, 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 think Halloween, even Pretty Little Liars. Come on. The killer is also probably taunting and playing games with the victims and trying to engage them in whatever's going on. Usually this takes the form of phone calls or texts, even in shows and movies that aren't necessarily slashers. We've got Scream, Pretty Little Liars, When a Stranger Calls, Slasher, and one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Hush. There's probably some weird family dynamics at play that usually involves the mother being called a whore 800 times and the daughter being called a whore 800 times, and usually a long-lost child had out of wedlock. There's also probably going to be a really shitty character that you love to hate who gets an awesome redemption arc and then dies off in the remake. And we kind of touched on this, but there's going to be a mystery significant other or sibling or combination of the two that emerge from the shadows. They emerge from the shadows. So you may be asking, if I just listed off 800 elements that are in every single slasher TV show and movie, why do we love them so much? And the answer is because they work. They're just good. It's quality. They're good every time. It's whether it's a shitty few seasons or a series of hour-and-a-half films in theaters. It's not hard to see what's coming, but maybe that's why we like them. In a world where life is scary enough, it's nice to know what fears and laughs lie ahead in good old slasher movies. If you liked this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm so much. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. I hope to see you guys here next time. Until then, enjoy your slasher videos, because it is fall, y'all.
Do your...